All right, guys, we're back, and this is the next lesson where we're going to talk about considering these questions about each goal, or questions to consider regarding your goals, okay? This will be a really, really short video. This isn't going to take a lot of time, I promise. Unlike so much of my rambling in some of the other videos. Very passionate about this stuff, if you can't tell, guys. All right, so here's just a couple of questions that you should be asking when you're writing down your goals or trying to define your goals and you're thinking about them. This is what I would suggest that you do. Perhaps you do this throughout the process of creating your treasure chart, right? Your goal board. Number one, first question to consider regarding your goal is, why do I want this dream goal to manifest, right? So your answer should not be an explanation, but it should be the motivation. This is, again, this really comes down to the why again. And I know we've hammered this home already several times, but it's so very, very important to understand the motivation behind why you to understand the why, which is the motivation of why you want a goal. Like, you want to achieve something, so then you define the what it is. And that's kind of the easy part. But then you have to describe the why. If you don't get clear about the why, which is your motivation for taking action, right? If you're not clear about that, then you'll never really build the momentum required to follow through, to commit, to achieve the goal, because you don't have the emotion and the motivation and the enthusiasm if you don't understand the why. If you just think about the what all the time, if you just think about the end, but not really the reason why you want that end, then that end never becomes, you never build the desire enough to go get it. Right? Does that make sense? The most powerful feature or feeling, emotion of achieving goals is desire, right? Because you have to have a really strong burning desire to accomplish something, or to get something, to acquire an object or an item or a title or whatever it may be. You have to have a strong burning desire, or you'll give up on at the first sign of resistance, right? The first hurdle or roadblock or pitfall or speed bump or whatever you want to call it that you get to. If you don't have a burning desire, it's so easy to just throw up your hands and quit and say, I tried it, it didn't work. You know, guys, if you want something bad enough, you will do anything to make it happen. That's what you need to start cultivating with every goal that you set, is you need to cultivate that desire. If it doesn't already exist, you need to figure out a way to build that desire, to make that burning desire appear, right? And it's something that you can fan the flames of, right? You can stoke the fire of desire, so to speak. There's ways to do that. And one of the ways is to really consider, why do you want this dream or goal to manifest? And the answer should not be an explanation as to how it's going to help you at a later date or whatever. It's really the motivation and the feelings, if that makes sense, and how you will feel because after having achieved that, how it will make your life better and who it will benefit, not just you, but the people around you, and family and friends and coworkers and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's number one. Number two, I told you this would be a quick video. Number two is, what does your past say about this issue? Are there any lingering doubts or limiting self-beliefs that would prevent you from achieving this goal? Okay? So if there are any lingering doubts, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with improving your self-esteem, right? So increasing or improving your self-esteem, that was goal category number one, is if you have limiting self-beliefs, guys, you're never going to achieve your goals, or it's very unlikely that you will, because you don't believe that you're capable of achieving those. And so you need to identify what those limiting self-beliefs are. And trust me, I know how difficult that can be. I'm still working through identifying some of my limiting self-beliefs that I'm working on now. Some of them are just like, I don't know how to find them. And so it's an ongoing process, guys. It takes effort, but some of them will be very easy and apparent, or you'll be able to identify the cause of a limiting self-belief with just a little bit of introspection, right? Sometimes it will occur rather quickly. Sometimes it won't. And I've been working on some trying to identify the root of some of my limiting self-beliefs now for several weeks, guys, in very particular areas that I'm having difficulty. And so I'm just going to keep trying. That's that burning desire I was just talking about, right? I have a burning desire right now to overcome all this crap in my life, you know what I mean? To improve the status and quality of my life. And so I'm going to, by God, by damned, I'm going to figure it out. And so that's why I'm studying this stuff. I mean, I've got just pages and pages of notes, guys. I'm listening to audio and reading books, and it's just crazy. And it's because, and I'm trying all these different things, and some of them are working great, some not so much. And I'm trying to share with you guys what's really, really working for me. And keep in mind that what's working for me may not work so well for you, which is why I encourage you to, if you're following along with me throughout this series, as I make suggestions of some of the audio books that I've listened to, the programs, the books that I'm reading, the stuff that I'm studying online, all that kind of stuff that I mentioned, I would encourage you to go out and start your own discovery and start doing research on your own as well, because what works for me may not work as well for you, and it may. So, just go out and start experimenting. And by the way, a lot of today's lesson, or this week's lesson, has come from Lee Poulos. Lee Poulos is a doctor who'd been studying visualization and creative imagery for most of his professional career as well. And I just started listening to some of his stuff, and all of his products that I've been able to find so far are on Nightingale Conant, nightingaleconant.com. Just go search it on Google, Nightingale Conant, it'll come up. And they've got a whole bunch of audio programs for personal development, success development, wealth building, spiritual, mind products, healing products, all kinds of stuff like that. It's all a lot of audio stuff. They've got, CDs and DVDs and MP3 downloads. Anyways, really great platform or company for this kind of stuff. And Lee Poulos has, like a dozen or 15 even products that are all about visualization and creative imagery. And I just got turned on to him about a week ago. And I've gone through the creative visualization, or the power of visualization course, which was phenomenal. And that's where this whole week's lesson has come, just from that one audio program. I just picked up 2 more of his audio programs as well through Nightingale Conant. So I'm going to be going through those over the next couple of weeks too. I found his explanation of some of these techniques to be what's really cool, and we're going to talk about this next week. We're going to talk about some of the visualization techniques that I've been exposed to from Lee Poulos. And it's great because he gives multiple ways of visualizing. So in other words, visualizing, like using maybe one type of visualization or creative imagery would be an actual visual technique where you're creating images in the mind. Then another one might be an auditory, where you're thinking about sounds and visual or imaging sounds or creative imagery, right? You're using sensory perception, but other senses other than just visualization, if that makes sense. Another one is more of a spatial type of visualization. Another one is a time type of visualization, whereas you think about the past and you think about the future and you interchange images and things like that. So my point is that Lee Poulos has got a lot of different various techniques, and he encourages you to try all of them, because some are going to resonate with you more than others. So some are going to be a lot more effective to you or for you personally than some of the other methods. And so that's kind of why I'm working through these programs right now, is because I'm finding new ways that are of visualizing my goals and meditating and things like that I didn't know before, if that makes sense. And so some of them are more effective for me. I'm getting better results quicker from some of these new techniques than just the stuff that I've been practicing the last several months. So again, those 2 questions are: why do I want this dream or goal to manifest? What does your past say about this issue? Are there any lingering doubts or limiting self-beliefs that would prevent you from achieving your goal? And so there's something else that I want to talk about very quickly before we move on to the next video. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and end this video now, and we'll go ahead and pick the next one up so that this video is a little bit shorter. The next topic is going to be primary tools for achieving goals, and then how to identify limiting self-beliefs. It's a very interesting concept. I just started going through this a couple of days ago, so I haven't really had any breakthroughs yet, but it's interesting. I'm going to share it with you, and that's what will be coming in the next video. See you in a moment.